Hey, Bikram Yoga 5 Doc. I just wanted to touch base. This Friday, the government will be announcing its plans for reopening the economy. And we're not sure what's going to be announced, but hopefully we get a bit more clarity as to when we can possibly start to reopen the studio and start to get back on our feet. I miss your smiling faces. In the meantime, I wanted just to touch base. I wanted to create a video. There's a tool that I use in my life. It's helped me so much with both my practice, and it's helped me so much getting through periods of big change and uncertainty, especially through the business. The tool is what I call high disc, low disc, and it's very much paying attention to your mood and your emotions. Now, the change we're going through is absolutely unprecedented in our lifetime. On a global scale, to see change like this, it hasn't happened since the 1900s, early 1900s, through the world wars. So in a very, very unique time. When you're going through periods of change, often it can feel like you are the only person in the world going through the problem, going through these challenges. And the challenges will be different, and each area of our life can be impacted differently depending on where things are at for you. Your biggest impact, the biggest stress might be coming through your job, through working at home, putting extra pressure with your family or your relationships at home. Could be in your business and you're going through a period of financial stress and uncertainty what things will look like down the track. So this is what you're going through. And when we say high disc, low disc, I'll start just talking a little bit about the low disc. The low disc is when we're feeling like we just want to run away. Our emotions are really raw. We're feeling possibly anger, sometimes some fear. It can feel like you're in a bit of a prison bubble, like a jail cell, and you just want to break out of it, and you just want the problem to go away, but the problem doesn't just go away. So some problems can be solved really quickly, but others, it's like there's a layer, then another layer, then another layer, then another layer, then another layer. So when we're in this state, this is what we call the lower disc. Now, when you're in this state, the best thing to do is just to take a step back and breathe and honor what you're going through. Just honor the feelings that have come up. It means something's come up, we haven't got an answer for it yet, and we're building a bit of a story about it, and the momentum of that is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And sometimes you can get really, really down low on that scale and things can just explode. So just first of all, honor what you are going through. Now, the best advice when you're going through this is actually not to try to find the solution at that point. If you're in that low disc area, it normally means you're caught up in a bit of a drama cycle. And I could create a separate video about this, but there's three roles that we always play in our drama cycle. One is the victim. So this is where we're in the problem and it's not my fault. Why is this happening to me? I can't do this anymore. I want to run away. So if that story is going on, we're in our victim mode. Sometimes we then may move into our perpetrator mode. This is where we go into very much blame. It's your fault this is happening. Why do you keep doing that? So we very much start assigning the blame to someone outside of ourselves. So when we're in that mode, we're very much moved into a perpetrator mode. Now, the more hidden aspect of the drama cycle is when we go into rescue mode. And what this looks like is when we have a problem, but we deny it and focus our attention onto other people's problems and trying to rescue them and find a solution for them. And sometimes it may be that we've got a partner who's drinking and we spend all of our time working on them to try to get them to stop and trying to do that for them and putting the safety net under them, when we don't have control over their actions, only what we do. So There's a lot of different ways we enter what I call the low disc. Now, in your practice, this can show up as when we're on the low disc in our practice, it means our emotions are up, and it shows up at just wanting to run out for the door, or giving the teach or a death stare, tipping water over the head. It shows up in different ways. It shows up very much, we're creating a dramatic story on our mats. And what I love is that all the lessons and the philosophy you're asked to learn in your yoga practice translates into real life. So as you know, when you're in that mode, what do you do? If you're on the mat, you've just got to sit there and breathe. The first thing is just to let yourself feel it, not to run away from it. Practice self-care, self-respect. Same thing in the business. So you're going through periods of uncertainty, so things have come up. Well, if they're coming up, sometimes the best thing to do is not try to fix it. If you're on the low disc, anything you try to fix when you're in that low disc space, you are just actually going to make worse. Whether it be a conversation with your partner. If you enter it on the low disc, it's going to be an argument. If you're on the low disc and you call up your supplier or that staff member to sort something out, it's not going to go well because your energy is not in that space. So your first step is actually to pay attention to your mood and work on your energy. If ever you're in that space, the best thing you can ever do is come in and do a yoga class. If you're on the low disc, that's the time to do your yoga because it breaks the momentum of whatever's going on in your life. You do your practice and you leave feeling very different. The other thing to know about the low disc, it's not something you can just get out of at a snap. If you've been entrenched in it and there's some momentum, you just got to give it a bit of space and let the momentum stop. And then it's just one little step at a time. But if you keep taking those steps, eventually you do start to move into the upper disc. You start to get out of your drama cycle and you move more into the high disc, that higher flying space. And it's in that space where you move from focusing on the problem and caught up in the problem, and you become more solution focused. So on your mat, when you move into this space, the story in your body changes. It might be, this posture's hard, but I'm making friends with it because it's going to teach me what I need to know. I'm feeling really strong sensations in the body. My heart rate's through the roof right now. I'm just going to breathe and let things settle and then resume. It might be, I'm feeling that really strong, that stretch at the moment, but I'm going to just sit with that and enjoy it because I know that's releasing something from the body. So in your practice, that's what it feels like when you get into that creative space. Now, when you find your way and you're in this space, that's the time you take action. That's the time you call that person. That's the time you have those discussions in your relationship. And you'll be amazed if you sit down when you're in that space with your pen and paper, what flows through you, what ideas come to you. It's very much the creative space. And it's also in that space where the opportunities will show itself. Just always remember, through the biggest challenges come the biggest opportunities. It's the biggest invitation to go through that transformation process. So this video, as I said, just start to really pay attention to where you are on the emotional scale. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you've learned a few things from this. I plan on sharing more and more videos. I would love to. Our new software, well, not our new software, our software Mind Body Online has created a new area on it called Video on Demand. I've always had a vision to create a video library to help both new students and existing students discover and love Bikram Yoga, to bring it into their life. And I think the more you're educated, the more you understand. There's so many layers and depths and philosophy embedded in the 26 in two principles. The more you understand that, the more you appreciate your practice. So that's where this is heading. Check that out. I can't wait to talk and more. Stay in touch, and hopefully we can see you soon on the mat. Take care. Sending love. Namaste.